Okay friends, let's talk about Mexico. Not the beaches and margaritas Mexico, though those are great. We're going way back in time, early 1900s to the Mexican Revolution. Think of it as Mexico's big, messy, teenage rebellion. For decades, Mexico was stuck with Porfirio Diaz, a dictator who loved progress as long as it helped him. But in 1910, things exploded. Mexicans from all walks of life, farmers, smart people, even some rich guys said, "No more." This wasn't just a small fight. This was a huge 10-year change that made Mexico what it is today. New leaders, new ideas, new problems. It was a wild ride. So hold on tight. We're diving into the crazy and hopeful Mexican Revolution. It's a story of underdogs, big ideas, and how a country fought for its own way. Before the revolution, Mexico had a bad case of the Porfiriatos. That's just a fancy name for Porfirio Diaz's rule. Diaz was all about order and progress, which sounds good, but really, it was a dictatorship in a nice suit. Sure, Mexico got more modern with Diaz, railroads, telegraphs, the economy was doing well, but guess who got all the money? Not the average person. Rich people took the land, workers were treated badly, and freedom of speech? Nope. Diaz liked things quiet. By 1910, Mexico was ready to explode. People were tired of being poor, having no chances, and being told what to do. They wanted change, even if they had to fight for it. And that's where the fun starts. Every revolution needs heroes, and Mexico had a bunch. These were not just ordinary men, they were visionaries who saw a different future for their country. But let's talk about the main three: Madero, Zapata, and Villa. These names are etched in the annals of history. Think of them as the revolution's superheroes, each with their own special skills. First, Francisco Madero. He was a quiet, smart guy who wouldn't hurt anyone. A man of peace, yet he found himself at the forefront of a violent struggle. Now imagine him leading a revolution. It was a role that seemed almost contradictory to his nature. That's Madero, the surprising revolutionary who challenged Diaz. He stood up against tyranny with a vision of democracy. He wanted democracy and fair elections, which Diaz hated. Madero's dream was a Mexico where every voice mattered. Then there's Emiliano Zapata, the hero of the farmers. He was a man deeply connected to the land and its people. Zapata wanted to give land back to the people. He believed that the land should belong to those who worked it. He was a true man of the people, leading his farmer army with the slogan, "Land and Liberty." His fight was for justice and equality. And finally, Pancho Villa, the cool bandit-turned-revolutionary. Villa was a complex character, both feared and loved. Villa was like Robin Hood, fighting for the poor and stealing from the rich. His charisma and bravery made him a legend. He was a great fighter and loved his sombrero. His image became iconic, symbolizing the spirit of rebellion. These three guys and many others started the Mexican Revolution. Their combined efforts ignited a movement that changed the course of history. They fought for different things, but they all wanted a better Mexico. Their legacy lives on, inspiring future generations to stand up for justice and equality. Section 4. From gunfights to government key events. The Mexican Revolution was a complex and multifaceted conflict that reshaped the nation. Okay, we know the players, now let's talk about the game. This was a game of strategy, alliances, and sheer willpower. The Mexican Revolution wasn't just one big fight, though there were many. It was a series of interconnected battles, each with its own significance and impact. It was lots of battles, teamwork, betrayals, and politics. The landscape of the revolution was ever-changing, with shifting alliances and unexpected turns. Think Game of Thrones with sombreros. The drama, the intrigue, and the stakes were just as high. It started in 1910 when Madero, after a fake election, said he was president and called for a fight. That started everything. His call to arms resonated with many who were disillusioned with the current regime. Suddenly, everyone joined the fight: farmers, miners, cowboys, even some rich people. The revolution became a melting pot of various social classes united by a common cause. Zapata and his farmer army fought in the South for land and fairness. His vision was rooted in agrarian reform and justice for the peasantry. Villa in the North led his army against Diaz's soldiers. His tactics were bold and his charisma unmatched. There were big wins and bad losses, changing teams and betrayals. The revolution was a roller coaster of emotions and outcomes. Madero became president, but not for long. His tenure was short-lived due to the turbulent political climate. He was killed in 1913, and Mexico got even more chaotic. His assassination plunged the nation into deeper turmoil. The revolution went on for years, with different groups fighting for control. Each faction had its own vision for Mexico's future. Venustiano Carranza eventually became president. His leadership marked a new phase in the revolution. But even after the fighting stopped, the struggle for power continued. The revolution's legacy was a nation forever changed, still grappling with its newfound identity. Section 5. The victorious spoils, reforms, and fallout. By the 1920s, the fighting mostly stopped, but the revolution wasn't over. The country was still reeling from the years of conflict, and the scars of war were visible everywhere. Mexico was a mess, the economy was broken, and there were a lot of angry people. The infrastructure was in ruins, and the social fabric of the nation was torn apart. It was time to rebuild and figure things out. Leaders and citizens alike had to come together to create a new path forward. The winners made new rules. They knew that to prevent another conflict, they had to address the root causes of the revolution. They wrote a new constitution in 1917, one of the most forward-thinking of its time. This document aimed to address the inequalities and injustices that had fueled the revolution. It included giving land back to people, workers' rights, and ensuring that the wealth of the nation was more evenly distributed, and limits on the power of the church and foreign investors. But there were problems. Implementing these reforms was not easy, and resistance was strong. The fighting had hurt the country, and it took years for the economy to get better. The road to recovery was long and arduous, with many setbacks along the way. The revolution also caused violence and unstable politics that would last for a long time. Political factions continued to clash, and the nation struggled to find stability. Even with the problems, the Mexican Revolution was a huge change for Mexico. It ended a dictatorship, and it marked the beginning of a new era, gave power to the people, allowing them to have a say in their government and their future, and made a more fair society. Social reforms aimed to improve the lives of the common people, ensuring that everyone had a chance to succeed. It was messy and violent, but it started modern Mexico. The revolution laid the foundation for the country's future, shaping its identity and its path forward. Section 6. Shaping Modern Mexico, a Legacy in Progress. So, what do we learn from all this? The Mexican Revolution isn't just an old history lesson, it's still shaping Mexico today. It's the foundation of modern Mexico. The revolution created a new national identity, one based on fairness, equality, and the rights of everyone. It also led to the PRI, a political party that ruled Mexico for a long time. The revolution's legacy is complicated. It brought social and economic progress. Land reform, workers' rights, and education got much better after the revolution, but it also caused political corruption and inequality. The PRI, even though it started with the revolution, became known for corruption. Even with its problems, the Mexican Revolution is a powerful symbol of hope. It shows that even regular people can fight for a better future. Section 7. Viva la Revolución, a lasting impact. The Mexican Revolution wasn't just about Mexico, it inspired people around the world. It showed that even the little guy can fight the powerful. The revolution also changed art and culture in Mexico. It inspired artists and writers who showed the revolution in their work. Think of Diego Rivera's huge murals and Frida Kahlo's paintings. The Mexican Revolution reminds us that history isn't just something in books. It's a living thing that still affects us. And the fight for justice and a better future isn't over. So, next time you have a margarita or some tacos, remember the Mexican Revolution. It's a story of struggle, sacrifice, and the human spirit, and it reminds us that even in bad times there's always hope. Viva la Revolución!